Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. I am excited. So happy to see you all. I apologize for missing last week's stream, but I had a lot of things that I had to kind of get caught up on. But everything's okay now. The fire's put out, and we're excited. We have our wonderful panel back. We're going to pick up where we left off. Tonight we'll be doing episode number, I believe it's 19, The Practical Joker of Star Trek, the animated series. And first and foremost, I wanted to thank and say hello to everybody in the chat. I noticed some of you guys really start coming in earlier, and I appreciate that. We have Lemon Pie, Tony Stark, Chris Longfellow. Yeah, so good to see you. And looks like wonderful Scogly's here too. Scogly, if you're at work, good luck and stay safe. And I wanted to also say hello to this wonderful, absolute fantastic panel that I have. Gorilla's Random Thoughts, how are you doing there?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Well, it's so good to see you. I missed the stream last week, and I'm sorry I missed your Walton stream. I was busy, but
yeah,
I'm glad you're doing well.
I will say, if anybody hasn't seen that, I think that's one of me and Germ's best one we've done so far.
All right, then everybody check that out on Gorilla's Random Thoughts channel. He does Walton's reviews every week. And hello, Ola Greg. Welcome, Ola Greg. And Scotty, how are you doing there?
I'm doing well, man. Welcome back. I'm glad that we're continuing on the journey.
I know we've only got what, maybe three episodes left, 3 or 4,
something like that. Yeah,
I know.
4 including this one.
4 including this one. Okay, so 3 after this one.
Yes.
And I've got to put my. I've got to get my chips in order to figure out what I'm going to do next, because I've got to, whatever it is, I've got to plan on it ahead of time. So that's something that I'll probably end up asking you, the listeners out there, which you prefer, because I've got to decide what I'm going to cover after Star Trek TAS, and I'd like to try to cover something that people are hopefully interested in seeing.
I vote to make you all suffer and make. Let's do a Discovery.
Oh,
that probably won't happen. I'll lose what few subs that I have, and I appreciate the ones that I have. And
I don't even want to make him review the Next Generation, let alone Discovery.
Well, Next Generation, I don't hate it. It's just it's not my favorite. Obviously, TOS is my favorite. And I'd like to say hello to Antiderivative Jill. How are you doing?
Yes, thank you for having me here today. I'm doing great. Whether I like the episode or not, it's always a bunch of fun to talk about it.
Oh, well, I think, is that a preview of your opinion on this episode?
A little bit.
Well, I'll have a shocker for you guys.
Oh, you're really got a shocker for us.
I'm already not shocked.
Well, I was expecting to do this last week, but it turned out we had to cancel, so I ended up watching this twice. I'm actually rescinding an F I was previously going to give this episode. There's still an F in there, but I'm rescinding one of the ones I was going to give after watching. I'll talk about that when we get to it with the Joker there. But those are still D7s. Those are still D7s. Those are not Romulan ships. Those are D7s.
So that gives us a little preview, everybody, of what Gorilla was not happy about.
I'm glad you're here for ship detail, because I didn't know what type of Romulan ship there were. I just knew.
No, they got cheap and wouldn't pay an artist 5 cents to make a different ship design. So they used D7 design.
They did?
That's possible.
Where did you find this out?
Looking at it.
Oh, just looking at it. Wow, that's great. Okay.
That's why I surmise that maybe it's a clip from the previous episode, possibly.
I'm guessing they got cheap on it because the Klingons had the unique look with the long neck, with the bridge in the center there, where it seems like just one well-placed torpedo behind the neck of the bridge there will destroy the whole ship.
Yeah, if you can get it right, that's true. And this does mark our last appearance of the Romulans until TNG, apparently.
Until the Defector in season 1.
Are you sure it wasn't the episode where everybody was frozen? Or
the neutral zone, yeah.
No, wait, it's the neutral zone. The Defector was the next appearance then.
Which series was that? The neutral zone.
TNG.
Right, that's right. Yeah, because what I meant was that we got no Romulans in the TOS movies, I guess.
Except for Ambassador Nunklus in Star Trek 6.
No, Star Trek 5. They had there's Klingon, the Romulan, and the human on Nimbus 3.
Caitlin Dar.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for correcting me on that.
And technically, the first Savik was supposed to be part Romulan, but that was never made it into the movie.
But pop culture, in all fairness, we only see her for like 5 minutes.
And for all fairness, Star Trek V is not something I remember dearly because, as you all know, it's the weakest of the TOS movies for me, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Well, they never did answer what does God need with the starship.
That's called bad writing on William Shatner's behalf.
Well, it wasn't God to begin with.
Yeah, but he still asked the question.
True.
They should have They should have called it Star Trek V: Shatner's Ego.
No. Either Star Trek Once Upon a Dream or Star Trek V: The Shroom Trip.
Well, if William Shatner says that it was a dream, then I'll take it. But then until then, I don't consider it canon.
They sing "Row Row Your Boat" in the beginning there, and then
I know the theory behind it. I'm just saying, but unless William Shatner confirms that it was a dream, I don't consider it canon. Is all I'm saying. I've heard the theory several times about the roll, all the other good stuff. But like I've said before, I think that's just fans' way of trying to cope with trauma, the trauma of a bad movie. But that's my opinion.
Well, if they want to cope with the
Why
trauma,
would they come up with that at all? Why would they come up with that at all? Unless they considered it a bad movie, right?
Well, if they watch Discovery first and then watch Star Trek V, they'll think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, but we're not there to compare.
It's to explain logical inconsistencies. I have an entire live stream about it.
Oh, well, I need to check that out then.
I think I was there.
You were there.
Yay.
You disagreed.
Yeah, no, I like it, but that's not what we're here for. Hey, Exhausted Comet has some spam in the chat. Hey, thanks, man.
That's odd.
Oh, I know, and the thing is it's over at Twitch. It's not on YouTube. I've had this happen.
Before we start, I have to be right back.
Fair enough.
Go for it.
It's over at Twitch.
So does this mean that the people on YouTube cannot see it? Only the people on Twitch, is that right?
Let me double check. I'll take a look.
I don't think YouTube should be able
to
see it.
YouTube cannot see it.
Perfect. I've got to figure out how to go over to YouTube and how to go over to Twitch and stop and ban all that, but I don't want to get off this StreamYard link.
Yeah, fair enough. I do the same thing. I don't know how to work it.
I don't either, so.
I've got it simulcast to, I think, this and Twitter and Twitch, I think, and I'd have to pay extra if I wanted to go more than that, and I'm not really ready for that. I don't have a big enough channel. Hello, Resolute Germ. Good to see you.
Hey, Germ.
Hey, Germ.
And Germ says nothing wrong. In fact, that's what I can do while Jill's busy. Let me get caught up because I don't want to get behind. Lemon Pie says, life do happen. That's because I said sorry. I was busy. Pop Tony Lemon Pie. Evening Gent says, Chris. Lemon Pie says, people shouldn't feel sorry for life outside of YouTube taking precedence. Yes, you're right about that, Lemon Pie. Chris says, Pop, everyone needs a break. Yeah, I know, but I need a break from life, not from Star Trek. Tony Stark says, good time to be back. Yes, it is, Tony. I'm excited. Lemon Pie says, hey, Chris. And Chris says, I always try to stop by and say hello, even if I can't stay. Well, I appreciate it, Chris. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And Tony Stark says, at least ours had a little warning. Pop culture, mine literally burned at showtime. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tony. At least yours had a little warning. Okay, yeah, that's not cool. Chris says, Tony, I hope you are up and running soon. And Tony says, well, hopefully that won't happen to me again. Yeah, Tony, I know you need to get your stream up and going. Technically, Meringue, I'm back, huh? Now? Ta-da! And Scogli, I'm not sure what that is. I apologize. Can you guys tell what that is?
Just a sec.
Do I enlarge? Let me see if I can enlarge if I can figure it out. M&M?
It looks like a hole.
A hole?
That's a hole for like a golf course.
Oh, like a hole in one, maybe. Chris says, Scogli, hi. And Lemon Pie says, hi, Scogli. And everybody's saying hello to each other. Tony says, that's great. My new favorite, says Scogli, Peach and Hole. Oh, maybe you guys are right. Maybe it is a hole. Oh, Greg says, hi, everyone. Lemon Pie says, Euler. Cheers. Herb Ush. Hello, Herb. Welcome. So good to see you. Herb says hello.
Hey, Herb.
And I need to throw my phone across the room because it always starts going off as soon as I do these.
Oh, I get that a lot too, where people don't
I
want
got-
to talk to me all day until I'm actually doing something.
I got to mute it. I think I know who that. I think I just realized who Herb is, but that's quite all right. It's good to see you, Herb. And Stuart Mitchell, Antiderivative Jill, Scotty, pop culture, gorilla random thoughts. Hello, hail.
Hey,
Lemon Pie says, hail, pop culture creator, gorilla, Scotty, and Jill. Order Greg says, hey, Lemon. Stream Elements is a loser. Let's see. Tony Stark says, I vote Ash versus Evil Dead. Yeah, I would like to. We will talk about that, Tony, in the future if we cover Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't know if I'll be doing TV series or not, but obviously that's an exception because we're covering the Evil Dead series right now. I'm not fond of the third season at all, but I would still include that if I do cover it. And past Stream Elements. And by the way, everybody, I'm putting links in the channel to these wonderful people on the panel. I'm putting links in the chat for these wonderful people on the panel. So in the chat, you'll find links for Gorilla's Random Thoughts channel. You'll find a link for Scotty's, and you'll find a link for Jill's.
Thank you.
Please check out their channels. I highly recommend them. And we will cover them again at the end of this stream. Lemon Pie says, who's eating dinner or putting away dishes? Somebody was. Oh, Tony says, I am. Okay.
I was eating, which reminds me, I'm still hungry.
That's fine. I know you said you hadn't had a chance to eat, which is totally fine.
Well, I just had a thing of chicken noodle soup. I might go make myself another can.
Oh, it sounds nice. Ola Greg says, please like and subscribe to the channel you like best. Absolutely. Lemon Pie says, but you're not on panel, Tony. Nope, that was Gorilla with the dishes. How do you know, says Tony? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe you and Gorilla are roommates, says Lemon Pie. Ola Greg says, a planet of galactic peace.
Oh. Well, if he's my roommate, he's really behind on the bills.
All right, time to get caught up now, huh? With interest. Tony Stark says, maybe we should share the same gorilla enclosure. And Skogly says, start rec. Resolute Germ says, there is nothing wrong with Star Trek 5. It is better than 1 and 6. I respect your opinion, Resolute. I see no comet, says Tony. And I see nothing, says Ola Greg. I don't want to do that in a German accent because I don't want to get, what do they call it, canceled or whatever they call it. Ola Greg says Hogan's Heroes music playing.
Hey.
Cam, welcome, Cam.
Hey, Cam,
everyone.
and
Hey,
everybody
Cam.
everybody in the panel.
And hello to another new subscriber, Mad Scientist. It's so good to see you, Mad Scientist.
Ahoy, mad scientist.
Skogly says the peach looks like a bum. LOL. Cam's Grad Course says making dinner, be listening, cheers. Ooh, that sounds yummy. I hope you're having a good dinner. I'm going to be having something I haven't made in a long time, and I figure tonight I'll make stuffed bell peppers.
Ooh,
I finally found them on sale. Yeah. They're usually so expensive, it's not really cost feasible, but I found them on sale. So I thought, why not? I actually found ground beef and bell peppers on sale, but that's not what we're here to talk about, obviously.
Hey, oh.
No, we're here to talk about The Practical Joker, which first aired on September 21st, 1974. And again, Bill Reed is the director for season 2 since Hal Sutherland left. And this episode was written by Chuck Menville, and he was familiar to me. He also wrote the animated series episode, the sequel to Shore Leave, Once Upon a Planet, with Len Jansen. And actually, sources are saying that Len Jansen also worked on the script, but is uncredited for it. Maybe he doesn't.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No, sorry.
He wrote for other cartoons later, which explain why this is so much more of a Saturday morning cartoon look and feel. He wrote for Batman the Animated Series, Land of the Lost, The Real Ghostbusters, The Smurfs, and Tiny Toon Adventures.
Nice.
Now, if I remember correctly here, Lore Runner said something about all of season 2 was directed by the same person.
Yes, that's right. Bill Reed.
Yep. So that'll be every season 2 there, and he got a bigger budget than season 1 did.
He did for.
Oh,
well,
wait,
I guess because there were so many fewer episodes.
Yeah,
there was more money.
Oh wait,
for those.
it was same budget, less episodes. So it's more per
Yeah, because I was going to
episode.
say that. Yeah, because by this point it had been canceled, so I'm guessing they were just given a minuscule budget.
No, but it's the same budget as season 1.
Well, it's probably the same budget per episode,
Yeah.
right? But unfortunately, less
Or
episodes. Yeah.
not per episode, per season. So these
No, because the
episodes,
first season they paid for what 18 episodes, so they're not going to pay for 18 episodes and only produce 3 or 4. So they're paid by the episode that they manufacture.
I guess I'll have to fact check Lore Runner on that then.
Yeah, because otherwise, they're not going to pay for an entire season, only make 3 episodes. That's
Lore
not
Runner does
constitutional.
really good research. It's possible he is correct.
Oh,
So-
well, okay then.
I do like his channel.
It's interesting. Then why would they cancel it? Well, if you're only 3, if it already was paid for, that's odd. But okay.
But one thing you can really tell that Dorothy Fontana is gone in this episode because one of her number 1 directives was to make Star Trek that just happens to be animated. You're supposed to watch the animated series and forget you're watching a cartoon. But that does not happen in this one.
No, and would you agree that this is the second one in the row with a practical joker? Some people consider Harry Bem as a practical joker, but I don't know.
Is he? Yeah, I thought he was just kind of a jerk. But I guess this matches the computer is also kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
Or an incredible jerk. Worse than Ben, because at least Ben apologizes in the end.
that's true.
Yeah, it's more of a cultural misunderstanding with Bem, even though I don't like him. But this is intentional. Yeah.
First Captain's Log, Stardate 3183.3. Our present mission, a routine geological survey of Type 4 asteroids, is nearing completion. The cruise has been uneventful, and we are now approaching the final asteroid in our assigned sector, a full 72 hours ahead of schedule. And so then Romulans appear, and Scotty is eager to return the favor, but Kirk says that the Enterprise has been damaged too much, and they're outnumbered, so they have to avoid battle for some reason. But neither he nor Scotty explain what kind of damage has occurred to cause this. We just know that it's going to take 24 hours to repair.
Is this the scene you were talking about, Gorilla?
Just like, yeah, yes. If you look at those are D7s.
Yes. Those are
The
the
Rom-
Klingon design. And I do actually have the Enterprise incident pulled up. And at the beginning of the Enterprise incident, Spock declares that Romulans are now using Klingon designs.
They share technology.
So while I would have liked to have seen the original Bird of Prey from Balance of Terror, yeah, this is still within the realm of possibility.
I would prefer that at least it's established, because I can't see the Klingons giving away every single one of their designs, just to the Romulans like that.
Yeah, right? They're pretty untrustworthy of everybody, so why they became somewhat friendly with Klingons, I don't know.
Right, with each other, right? You think that's kind of odd.
It had to have been a mutual enemy that they had that we don't know about. The Romulans claim that the Enterprise trespassed into Romulan territory, but Kirk denies it. And actually, we're never actually told exactly where we are in the asteroid field. So, except for, and near the end of the episode, it says that they're sort of close to the neutral zone, which explains the Romulans.
Yeah, explains the Romulans being there.
But where are we? Don't know exactly. It's still a very expansive area. We could be anywhere until
That's
the
true.
very. So I just recently saw one of the weaker UFO episodes, and even that episode lets you know the location of every object. So here, nobody cares where we are.
We're just out there somewhere.
Yeah. So in order to avoid confrontation with the ship, because they don't want to fight it, they go through this.
It's nice that there's an engine sound in engineering.
This nebula. So,
And we have a Romulan.
Right. And Scotty sent a tweet earlier saying into the nebula shenanigans and then out of the nebula end scene. And so, yeah, that's basically the entire review.
Well, I want to expand on it a little bit more, but yeah,
And
that
thank
is
you, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
all right. Until next week.
And in this, foggy nebula, we get lots of little explosions.
Yeah. Pow, pow,
The-
pow, pow. They like that in the animated series.
They do. The field is composed of highly charged subatomic particles. If the density grows no worse, we should be able to write it out. And so this is the only bit of science that I really found that has something to back it up. There are nebulas out there with charged subatomic particles. The one that I found first was the Manatee Nebula, which goes even beyond the imagination of whomever came up with this nebula, because this real one has a black hole in the center too.
Ooh, so this is
Does it?
before they were discovered.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sometimes Star Trek, even the bad episodes, that's what's wonderful about this. Even if you don't really like this episode, even the bad episodes sometimes are very predictive of real science that we encounter later.
Don't you mean
Exactly.
it had a dark star in it?
Yes.
Not a black hole, but a black star.
It's a black hole in the middle of the nebula. The Manatee Nebula.
Oh, I was referring to yesterday's Enterprise.
Yes, I figured that, but yeah, even when I talk about yesterday's Enterprise, I call it a black hole because that's what we call it now. And so I changed the scientific representation to
You guys
match
mean tomorrow is
today.
yesterday?
Tomorrow is yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. Yesterday's
That's
Enterprise. Wait, I'm thinking of TNG, ain't I?
Yeah, that yesterday's Enterprise is TNG.
Okay.
Tomorrow's yesterday. I mix up all the tomorrow and yesterday.
Too many damn time travels episodes.
Right, too much time travel. Lemon Pie says, I live on a fine mush made of red wine and potato chips. Very healthy. It sounds yummy. I'd eat that with a spoon.
Thank you, Scotty.
Cheers.
So anyway, the Manatee Nebula sends out high energy X-rays with electrons that are sped up to 300 to 450 tera electron volts. But really, it's not that impressive. It just means that every electron has the energy of a raindrop, which doesn't sound like much, except that is a billion trillion times the amount that the electrons would normally have. So I was happy at least that, there's at least some kind of science in there.
Yeah, they at least tried.
Yeah, they did. And
Funny how the
that's more
animated
than we
series
could say
has
today.
better science than New Trek, huh?
Absolutely. And if you ever need a Star Trek picture for your Thanksgiving Day meal, this is a good one, I think.
And it looks like they're having Saurian brandy.
Oh yeah, that is the same bottle of Saurian brandy. Yeah, I was more fascinated with the weird sort of, I don't know, beaker cups that look like you could just fit them right over your mouth and tip back.
Well, it's funny because the sides look like they're shorter than the mouthpiece, which means if you tip it to your face, you think the liquid will pour out on both sides. But I could be wrong.
It's a dribbler.
A dribbler.
But it was briefly delightful to see the bridge crew sitting and having dinner together.
I noticed they're eating real food, not the colored cubes.
Yeah.
But this is... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Did they ever explain why Saurian brandy became outlawed?
It's Romulan ale.
No, Romulan ale. Yeah, Romulan ale is outlawed because of the neutral zone and the treaties.
Oh, I thought they mentioned something like, or at least, never mind. Admiral Ross was just surprised that Nog was able to get a hold of Saurian brandy during a war. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was under the assumption that it was illegal.
Oh, yeah?
Just supply lines during the war.
Oh, okay. And so what's happening here? This is where the pranks begin. So the computer starts doing these pranks, but they don't know it's the computer yet. I'm just telling you now because we know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, we will.
And pretty soon, I mean, it's really early in this episode that you can hear the computer giggling.
Yeah, I don't think it giggles yet, but
maybe not yet, right?
No, this entire scene, they're like, we the glasses have spilled on all of us. So who did the prank? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's just like the fork bending. It's like the computer made the fork, I guess, maybe, Okay.
Yes, the computer. Yeah, right.
Cam says, I love stuffed peppers, Pop. I'm grilling a steak with some mixed veggies. Oh, that sounds good too.
Delish.
Matt G, hello. Good to see you. Matt G says, Jill and heal all.
But
Hey, Matt G.
hello, Matt G. But since the
Yeah.
Enterprise doesn't have a replicator, then it had to have made the fork from whatever materials are on the Enterprise already.
Yeah, you think you'd have them in
I don't
stock,
know.
but oh well.
I thought so too. I don't know. We don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen in Star Trek.
Yeah,
No, we
well,
don't.
he said it has to make it out of any material that's readily available. Well, if the ship's pranking them, then they purposely made it out of something weaker like rubber.
Yeah,
You know, it's a joke.
yeah. You know what? That's possible. And here, it's also construct. It seems like the computer's also constructed something else, because this isn't Spock's normal sensor scanner. This is something else.
And he
looks
doesn't
completely
notice,
different.
right? He should
No, he
notice that
doesn't.
it's new. No.
No,
It's a good joke, though.
It is. No, some of these things did make me kind of laugh.
Yeah.
But do I really want my Star Trek to just be a joke?
Well, with this was going to be one of my apps, like all these damn childish pranks and all that, because I've played better pranks in my days there. I could probably tell a couple there, but then I got to thinking there with come to think about it, what is the energy cloud that screwed up the Enterprise there was kind of like a child, in elementary school, so that's why all the like a fifth grader, has the mentality of the fifth grader. And that's why you're getting like fifth grader level pranks.
To me, if they would have actually done that, that would have made it a better episode. But they never interacted with the actual cloud to determine that it was sentient and infected its personality into the computer. That would have made a lot more sense to me. That is a
right.
good
That's
idea,
what I was wondering. Right. So is it the affected, like the alien, whatever it is that doing the practical jokes, or the computer is? So I guess the computer is, right? It's not
the computer is. There's no
Okay.
indication. They don't explain that it's an alien in the cloud. That would have been cool. I like that idea.
Me too.
And Captain Infinity, she better not. She's mine.
Oh, welcome, Captain Infinity. If you're here, let me see. Oh, yeah, I'm way behind the chat. Yes, Captain Infinity. Hail, good to see you.
So if food is the way to a man's heart, then the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Then the way to make him insanely upset is to mess with his food. And Scotty cannot have a grilled cheese sandwich. Instead, the food synthesizer ejects all sorts of food. And he says, "I said one sandwich. That's all. Someone turn off this infernal food factory." And Kirk reports. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to mention Resolute Germ says it was canceled only because they had a plan for live action to start up. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but I thought they were going to start the live action around 77 or 78. But I don't know.
Right. When is phase 2 going to happen?
Yeah, because this was 74. 73, actually. 73 when it was made. Lemon Pie says, hi, mad scientist. Well, Lemon Pie says, hello, Germ. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up a little here. Resolute Germ says, hello, Lemon Pie. Herc 130 says, oh, yeah. Lemon Pie says, what up, Herc? Resolute Germ says, it was the Federation enemy that got them to agree to the trade of tech. Lemon Pie says, oh, wait, this isn't a review of Joker. No, it isn't. I'm sorry about that. And Herc 130 says, PJ, the toothless cat, is sitting on me. He isn't happy that I'm typing LOL at Lemon Pie. My old dog is toothless, so yeah, I understand. Captain Infinity covered charge on those particles. Lemon Pie says, cats are not happy unless they are the center of attention, especially toothless ones. Just don't kiss it, right? Captain Infinity says, black holes matter. Don't tell that to Whoopi Goldberg. Captain Infinity says, dark matter, in fact. And Herc 130 says, you get them all in there, Captain Infinity. You got your protons, your neutrons, your electrons, and your croutons. Nice. And Captain Infinity says, croutons. Lemon Pie says, what about quartz? And Captain Infinity says, right. And Captain Infinity says, and those Framkin leptons. Lemon Pie says, who is this Captain Infinity? Some kind of troll? Keep an eye on him, Rod. Captain Infinity says, wrench me. I think I will. All right, Jill, go ahead and continue. Sorry about
No,
that. Well, I
wait.
That's
read
okay.
stuff
It
in
was a
front of
good.
me.
It was a good
Wait.
interruption.
I was gonna say,
Go ahead.
you were
I got
asking
it.
about Phase 2 there. Star Trek: The Motion Picture was the first step in what was supposed to be Phase 2 there. Then it just turned into TNG later on. So
That's right.
whenever the motion picture was released, that's when Phase 2 was supposed to start.
And that's why on the Clockwork Times channel, Raquel Briggs will call Riker the Decker unit. So anyway, continuing the episode, Kirk reports the situation has reached the point where friends are accusing friends. The entire crew is on edge, myself included. So, oh yeah, I forgot about the pie.
Oh,
Oh,
you
the
gotta
pie.
have that. You gotta have that. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Best pirate thrower in the world was Mo Howard. Of the Three Stooges, that is.
Mm-hmm. So this episode really hinges on comedic timing. So if you're laughing, you're gonna have a better time than if you're not.
Yeah, I have a question about this shot. Eric's is in command. Why wouldn't it be a her or Scotty or
It
somebody
should be a
outrank him?
her. Well, Scotty.
Yeah.
Scotty first. Scotty should be in. Wait a minute. No, Spock first.
Mm-hmm.
Spock
Right.
first.
Yeah,
Then
Spock's right there.
Scotty. Then a her.
Well,
Okay.
What I'm thinking here is maybe they needed her at the comms there to try to get a message out there. So they put Eric's in charge just so that they could keep her at her station. And Scotty was obviously needed in engineering to try to clear out whatever the heck was messing with the Enterprise there.
Well, that's possible.
Or the writer of the episode just really liked Eric's and wanted to put him in the captain's chair.
Or
Oh,
it was
sure.
just a stock shot that they reused. But I would have thought that it would have gone Spock, then Scotty, then Sulu, then Uhura, and Eric's would have been sort of like checkup.
That's what
I agree with that.
TOS did. That's what TOS did. But in the Bible, it's supposed to be a her.
Okay.
And she's fourth. She's supposed to be fourth in command, even though the original series didn't adhere to that.
Mm.
I was just trying to come up with an in-universe experience. I was trying to come up with an in-universe explanation,
Which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Herc does say it takes 4 quarts to make a gallium.
So since I am so easily amused, some of this stuff did make me laugh. But
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It wasn't totally a disaster.
Well, it
This
kind
was
of
a good one, right?
Yeah, it was. This was the best one in the whole episode.
Yes.
Yeah, that turned into a meme.
Right. Kirk is a jerk. And only then does the computer finally reveal that she's the prankster. And these malfunctions have been triggered by traveling through the nebula. And I wanted Scotty to conduct a complete analysis of the systems to determine how this occurred. But we only get some weird non-explanation from Spock.
Shame.
Right? So I don't know exactly how this happened. At least in the episode tomorrow is yesterday, when the Enterprise computer was given a more strongly feminine personality, the reason was given. It was because a race of matriarchs upgraded the computer. But I like Gorilla's idea that the Nebula Cloud actually wasn't an alien, and change the computer that way, because that would make more sense that there was an intelligence behind the reprogramming of the computer, because that's my biggest problem with it.
I agree. With that as well. Mm-hmm.
And so the computer continues to do things and wears down the crew's ability to trust each other, which of course is extremely dangerous, and lays down some fog and an ice rink. And finally Kirk says, Spock, I want all hands at their stations. We're going to run a complete systems check from bow to stern to get to the bottom of this. So they at least say they're going to do that. Oh, and this is the best part.
Oh, great. Oh, yes.
Yes. Uhura, McCoy, Sulu enter the rec room where we see our very first broadcast version of the holodeck. Gene Roddenberry really wanted this included in the third season of the original series, but budget constraints prevented it. This is the
And
second.
it's strange that they. Well, it's strange they showed it here, but they didn't show it in any of the TOS movies. But so and it wasn't in. It was not in Enterprise. Is that correct?
It
No,
was
it
an
was
Enterprise.
It was.
Yeah, but it wasn't not on the Enterprise, not on the ship. It was an external alien. Another alien came to interacted with the Enterprise crew, and they had a holodeck.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And then there was magic. It was one of the episodes of Star Trek that has magic sex rocks and Trip.
Magic what?
Trip
Sex
gets pregnant.
rocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
Trip gets pregnant.
Yes,
Oh,
and it's the
yeah.
same episode as the holodeck, right?
Yes.
The other aliens holodeck. So
And Ola Greg is on a diet. Ola Greg only eats colored cubes.
Now,
And Lemon Pie says Herc, LOL. Herc 130 says, Ola Greg, if we only had Pastorini, Campbell, and Billy White Shoes, we would win this damn war with the Klingons. Put Bum in and we could rule the universe. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's fine. McCoy wants to walk in the woods, so they change it to that. And they think they've escaped the computer's reign, but they haven't.
Right. You think this would be the last place you'd want to be because the computer has full control over the environment, right?
well,
Yeah,
they
right.
don't know that. They don't know that.
Right.
And yes.
Now, I got a question. Does anybody else think this is like an early prototype that can only do basic scenery like the woods and all that? Or do you think it's a lot more advanced than that?
You mean like actual people and environments like in TNG?
No. It's like early prototype. Like it can only do like the woods and.
That's what I'm saying. So you're saying that it may not be able to do like people and environments. That's what I'm saying. So what do you think is the difference in your opinion?
Like early prototype, it can't do much. It's
Okay.
like a limited, like very limited, like a lot more. Like you know how all the different functions we have like on cameras now are all the stuff we could do with the computer versus what we could do 20 some years ago. Like this would be like an early prototype of a limited capacity.
I would agree with that and say that it could only do environments and not be able to recreate characters to interact with or things like that. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It would make sense, right? That the technology would slowly advance over the years.
Yes, that would be a way to explain it. How the TNG one would be more complicated than this one.
Well, and also because by the time you
sophisticated.
get to the TNG era holodecks, they have replicator technology, whereas this is still the food synthesizers that are provided by the galley, as opposed to full-on replicators, and that's a primary component of the holodeck on the Enterprise D, I think.
Yes, you're right. But the computer thinks it'll be funny to make them fall into a pit, so it makes it trapped with leaves. And of course, this is extremely dangerous, but the computer doesn't care.
And of course,
Just
they
the
walk
more-
right into it.
Yeah, they do.
Well, notice that the computer never did do anything to directly get him killed.
Yeah,
but
they
just
did.
enough to scare him, enough to
Yeah,
think that something's gonna happen.
but the problem with that is that you're degrading just the pranks themselves are degrading the trust of the crew, and that in of itself could be dangerous in a critical moment. That could get everyone killed. So even though it's not directly trying to kill them, it could cause their death.
yeah, but
I agree with that.
The computer don't understand that. The computer wouldn't understand that.
The
They just think
computer
the thing's
doesn't
funny
understand it
scaring
because
them.
Right.
yeah, because it's completely illogical right now somehow,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense.
Well, the furry is flirting with Scotty, according to Captain.
Yeah, she's
Furry?
mine.
What?
She's mine.
Okay, so of course they call it a hole.
She's the one redeeming episode of the thing. My furry baby there got a lot more to do in this episode. I'm just gonna say that that's the redeeming part of this episode.
Yep. What furry? What are you talking about? Oh,
Maret.
MRS. I was confused.
Oh, wait, that's her name?
Yeah, MRS. MRS. Yeah.
Mress, right? Mress, I'm guessing. M''RESS, right?
Like us.
But it starts with a. Sorry.
It does.
So Kirk shuts down the computer. So he finally orders the computer shut down until they can figure it out. But back in the holodeck, the computer decides it's time for a blizzard.
I was going to ask that last shot with Scotty on the big screen. How often do they ever show that where they show somewhere within the ship on the big screen?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this before.
No, usually they just communicate by speaker.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. That is a very good point. So unlike in modern holodecks, like Gorilla was saying, you cannot just ask the computer to end program via voice command. But I guess even if you could at this point, the computer wouldn't obey. So I guess it's not clear whether or not that is a function.
So you think here, in order to end it, they'd have to find that console?
Yeah, that's what Uhura says. We just have to keep fucking.
Yep.
And when Scotty tries to turn off the computer prevents further action by turning off the gravity rather. And Scotty's ordered away from the computer to prevent further agitating it. I don't know. Spock explains.
I just don't know.
I just don't know. Spock says apparently subatomic particles from the field have invaded our computer circuits, much like bacteria infect living matter. As a result, the Enterprise is suffering the electronic equivalent of a nervous breakdown. And so in the alternative factor, Kirk says, "I want facts, not poetry," but we don't really get it.
Oh, right.
So what does it mean for a computer to have a nervous breakdown? No matter what happens to a piece of code, you can always trace the source of the issues by stepping through it manually to trace where the divergent behavior is happening and what went wrong from any of the consoles on the ship.
Right, it's not a human.
Right. Could the charged nebula have changed the computer code somehow? That's what the question is. Yes. But would you be able to follow that code to figure out what is wrong? Yeah, and that's what Scotty or Spock should be doing, which is what they don't do. But
This is like Short Circuit, because the only reason that Johnny 5 is alive is because he gets struck by lightning. So the Enterprise drifts through this nebula, gets struck by lightning, and all of a sudden the Enterprise is alive, is what I'm gathering from this plot.
But you know what? I don't like this episode, and I like Short Circuit. So what is the deal there?
That means that we have to talk about Short Circuit soon.
God, I bet Short Circuit is great, but we have to talk about 1 and 2.
Well, you've definitely got to cover Short Circuit before the remake comes out, because I heard they're working on a remake.
I don't care about any damn remake. I want to talk about Short Circuit 1 and 2 in one movie.
And do it before it comes out, like I'm doing the Evil Dead, right? You want to do it before it comes out to remind people to watch the good stuff, the real thing.
I would never watch a remake of Short Circuit.
Okay, so you just made this episode slightly better by saying that. Okay, so the computer is now Johnny 5, but at least I guess just because it's such a jerk, maybe that's the problem.
Input. We're bound to reach a wall, which is incorrect. If this is a prototype for the holodeck, then that means that the rec room should have some sort of treadmill situation going on the floor so that they can still feel like they can move in all directions. And so finding the wall would negate having a nice long walk in the woods unless the path is just a perpetual circle within the same area.
Well, I think what I'm guessing when I heard that was maybe that's just it. Maybe since this is a more primitive version of the holodeck, it's not unlimited where you can move around, because in the TNG it's unlimited pretty much, right?
Well, yeah, because force fields and treadmill systems.
So here they're limited to the size of the room.
Ugh.
I guess what they're saying.
I suppose. Well, and it kind of remember in the extended cut of Aliens when Ripley goes to like a little waiting room and they just project the image of a park on a wall. So yeah, I could see it if they actually were to do this in live action in the 3rd season, which was the intention of the rec room, but they didn't do it for budgetary constraints. Then I guess it would have been something like that.
Well, makes sense. Technology wasn't quite there yet.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so the computer's next prank is to flood the bridge with nitrous oxide, making everyone laugh except for Spock.
In reality, it would kill them, but okay.
Yeah.
No,
Well-
but I had one way to make this seem better and more threatening. There is like with all the humans, make them laugh, because it's laughing gas, blah blah blah. Have them all laughing. But on Vulcans, it has the opposite effect. It unleashes their emotions, and Spock becomes extremely angry and violent. Therefore, it becomes a more threatening situation. All right, we gotta get this damn thing out of here now.
Yeah, well, I actually do kind of like this, that it does have a different effect on Vulcans and it has more negative effect, but it doesn't really say exactly how it's affecting Spock, just that he collapses from it. So like
I
you
want
said,
to-
if they said something like that, that might be cool.
Yes. And I want to cover this chat here from Resolute Germ. It says Phase 2 was loosely scheduled for mid-70s, but development was hell and led to the movie. And Lemon Pie says, so I got you a wrench that was my scheme all along. Ola Gregg says a worthy and successful scheme, Lyndon. And Resolute Germ says everything with Trek at the time was chaos. First, they wanted to show it in a movie and back and forth until they landed on the motion pictures years behind schedule. Yeah, what happened was the popularity of the conventions exploded, and Paramount wasn't expecting that. They didn't know that there was that many lovely fans like us out there. So I agree with that, Resolute. Thank you.
Well,
ahead,
and
Jill.
they developed Phase 2 as being sort of a movie of the week, and they were going to redo it, and then they thought about doing a movie, and they thought, no, it's going to be too expensive, so they dropped back to a TV show, and then little something came out in 1977
That's
called
right.
Star Wars. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
That's right.
Mhm.
And that's when Paramount said, "Holy moly, we have a Star Wars of our own."
Right.
Yeah.
Don't we have something? Come on, guys. Come up with something, right?
You got something with star in the title, let's do that.
Yeah, and it's great that, first of all, it's great that Paramount had Star Trek. Second of all, it's great that they chose Star Trek as their flagship space show, because every other copy of Star Wars that came out failed. Only Star Trek succeeded out of all of them.
Because it's so different.
It's so different, and it already had a fan base built in. But because believe me, I remember when Star Wars came out, there was a lot of copies, and none of them survived. Well, Battlestar Galactica, I guess, was the closest one, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Sure. Well, back to the episode. The crew and the holodeck are almost giving up when the computer decides to change the game into a garden maze. But luckily, that's when the engineering team wrenched crowbars to open the door.
Crowbars.
Right? Very high-tech technology here.
More
Hey,
sturdy
when
than
all
the
else
fork.
fails, just go to the most primitive method.
Yeah. It's always fun.
That's
I
right.
do
A
like-
hammer or
I
a
do like it.
crowbar.
I do like in the Orville where they use a regular power drill to save the day. Now, Sulu can't pilot the ship. It's headed to the neutral zone by itself. Headed right to the Romulan warships. Because the computer's looking for revenge on the Romulans.
Why?
Oh, this is bad. I don't know. Don't ask me. This episode is stupid.
Yeah.
So you think maybe the computer thinks by getting them in a conflict with the Romulans, that's a practical joke in itself.
So not
Yes.
only does the ship have an insane amount of nitrous oxide, but it also has enough helium to release a giant balloon. More helium than you'd find at Party City.
Hey, wait. Are we sure that was helium? Because you don't need helium in space.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Okay, so this is just a regular balloon.
Yeah, it could be any gas, or
Okay.
it could be just like kind of puffed out, naturally from space.
Hey, you're absolutely right, Gorilla. They don't. Okay, I rescind my.
Are you saying, Gorilla, that the vacuum of space is what expanded it?
It could be.
Maybe. Possible.
Puff it out, and then just it naturally is inflated because there's nothing
Anyway.
pushing in on it.
Anyway, it's 20 times the size of the Romulan ship. Oops, sorry. Give me a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 20 times the size of the actual ship. And it does successfully distract the Romulans and draws their fire.
Yeah, only just to piss them off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. The Enterprise computer wants to piss off the Romulans. Exactly. Feeding them a false decoy to shame them into attacking a false target.
Yeah. You know what this computer's reminding me of? It's reminding me of the person who spent so much time online that running their mouth that they never gotten their ass whooped for running their mouth. That's what this computer's reminding me of.
Yeah, the
not
computer
until,
is absolutely a
until,
troll.
right, not until they meet someone in real life and do the same thing, and then they find out the hard way.
But the problem with this is that sensors would immediately tell the Romulans that the balloon was a fake. So, I don't know. This is dumb.
Oh yeah, there's many problems with it. You're right.
But it does trick them, and they do destroy it. And then
Now, if only we could destroy a balloon as fast as the Romulans did.
So then, normally Kirk does know how to outsmart a machine, and the way he does it here is to pretend to be afraid.
Oh, right. Sorry, I
We
watched
have
this
the
last.
eyes.
Yeah, I did. I didn't understand this, and then I kind of picked up on what was going on. It's like it was kind of like a Brer Rabbit kind of thing. Whatever we do, don't go back to the nebula.
Yeah, reverse psychology. So I don't know. While sometimes funny, I have to ask myself whether or not I want my Star Trek to be a joke at the detriment of the story. I don't know really that it pulls itself together at any point. And we don't know from the beginning what took them down for 24 hours, why Kirk couldn't attack the Romulans. And we have a bot in there, and I just killed it.
Yeah, just like a giant balloon Enterprise.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Jill's fast. I mean it. Wow.
I just saw that.
I'll get you next. I'll beat you next time.
So, not only that, I don't know. Okay, so the script it spends so much time being funny, and if it's not funny, that makes the episode even worse. So if you're not laughing, then it's even a worse episode for you. And where are we? Where are we along the neutral zone? We don't know.
To the left.
We don't care.
They're in the second star to the right.
And the only interesting part is the nebula and what kind of effect it's having, but that is not explained too well.
Pow.
Wapow, pew pew.
So
but I did like that stuff on the screen. That was kind of cool. It was almost 2001-ish.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Yeah, no, I like the animation and the sparkies, and the electrons.
Sparkies.
So even though Kirk outsmarting the computer is my favorite thing, they took that concept and made Kirk win through reverse psychology, which only works because Spock says the machine has become illogical. So I guess in a way they did try to explain the silliness.
To some point, I guess.
Yeah, to some point. So, but the best thing we get from this episode is the holodeck. And it's hard for me to be harsh on the animated series, so I give this C-.
Ooh, that's harsh for you, Jill, but I understand.
Hey, wait, I got an issue right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, with them not telling them with them tricking them into that energy cloud, that is how the Romulan Earth War started.
Wait, how?
The Romulan Earth War started with them pissing off the Romulans even more by tricking them into the nebula and all the.
Well, no, they said. Well, they only had to endure the jokes for a little while because the crew did say that eventually they were going to tell the Romulans how to fix it. But just wait a little bit.
See, eventually.
Let's not spoil their fun just yet.
And scene.
And I wanted to cover really quick here. Herc 130 says, Ola Greg, wrenching ain't easy. Ola Greg says the Oilers mascot carried a giant blue wrench, Herc. Ola Greg says, also, I worked on offshore oil rigs. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. We need to talk about that one of these days, Ola Greg. I'd love to hear that. Lemon Pie, Oiler, that's tough work, correct? And Ola Greg says, very hard and dangerous work. And I would be offshore for months at a time. Wow. Ooh, I've wondered about that. They better pay a lot. Ola Greg says, I was H2's safety technician, and paramedic.
Oh, they make the big bucks on those oil.
They
rigs out
better,
on the
yeah,
Gulf.
especially considering it's oil. Lemon Pie says safety inspector like Homer Simpson. And Ola Greg says, so I worked blowouts and potential blowouts and poison gas situations. Yeah, they had that movie a few years ago where that big rig blew up. Herc
Deepwater
130 says,
Horizon, yeah.
yeah, that Ola Herc
That
130
was
says
terrible. It was
it was
releasing oil for
and,
months.
and based on a true story, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the 2005 Gulf oil spill.
It was
I
horrible.
remember.
Ola Greg says, I lived in the woodlands area north of Houston. My stepdad was an underwater welder that worked out of Field, Galveston. I hope I said that right. Skulls. Ola Greg says, no, I set up breathing air supply and system and poison gas detectors. Plus, I did rescue if necessary. Wow. Cool, Herc. I worked with those guys. I have always lived in North Houston. Somebody tells me you get a very long vacation between work. Lemon Pie says, there's red wine in that nebula. Captain Infinity says, Ali Sheedy. Okay, Ali Sheedy.
Oh, so
Of
the
course, I
computer's
should have thought of
drunk.
it. So the computer's drunk.
That's what they're saying.
And Captain Infinity says, thanks for the wrench pops. Cheers. And I don't want Stream Ellen to be jockeying right now. Early Greg says, use a phaser to warm up a rock. Sean Carter, good to see you. Hello, all, says Sean Carter.
Hey, Sean.
And
Hi.
Cam's Crash Courses says at Herc 130, my dad was a merchant marine after service shipping out of Port Arthur. Sean Carter says at Lemon Pie, clap, clap. Ola Greg says, hi, Sean. Lemon Pie says, hey, Sean. Cam Crash Courses says, love Texas. I was at Fort Sam. Then spent a lot of time in the hill country rehabbing at BAMC. Yes, Texas, you got to love those Whataburgers. I wish they'd come to California and replace our In-N-Outs. And Herc 130 says, Ola Greg, I grew up in Spring at Cam's Crash Courses. I know Port Arthur well. And Herc 130 says at Cam's Crash Courses, Shipra, you were at Brooks? Man, I hope you're okay now. And Herc 130 says, Brooke, damn spell check got me again. That's all right, Herc. We all understand. Brooke. There we go. And there's those horrible bots. And Cam says, Herc 130, I prefer the hill country personally. Largest butterfly breeders and huge flower gardens near Fredericksburg. Luckenbach, even San Antonio. Statue of Stevie Ray Vaughan is cool in Austin. Who gave this episode a D plus to an F minus? Oh, never mind. I'm afraid to look, but has that poll closed itself again?
No, it's still going.
Oh, I'm blessed. I can't believe it.
Don't look at me on that
Stripes,
one.
welcome.
Yeah. Don't
Hey,
look at me
Tiger.
on that one.
I didn't think you were doing it, Gorilla, because it was doing that before you were a moderator on my channel or whatever it's called.
No, I'm talking about the F. Don't blame me
the
on
F.
that one.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We're not going to point fingers at anybody.
No,
We don't blame
I'm
anybody.
getting ahead of Scotty on this one.
Oh, I stopped blaming you a while ago.
No.
Tiger
Hello,
Stripes.
Tiger Stripes.
I wanted to welcome Tiger Stripes. And Tiger Stripes says at Cam's Crash Courses, don't forget the Fat Bridge. And Cam's Crash Courses says, Herc 130, thanks, brother. I'm good. I was a soldier, a medic. So I was privileged to work with heroes who had been burned, etc. Oh, man, that sounds rewarding work. Thank you for your service. I want to say that. And Matt G says,
Flapjacks.
Ooh, I love those. I hadn't had those in a while. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow for dinner.
Nice.
Cam's Crash Courses says at Tiger Stripes, greets. Okay, so we're caught up with the chat for now. And Mad Scientist, I hope you're still with us. And Scotty, R37, what do you think about this episode? What would you like to say?
You know, after this is a 1-2 punch that I didn't really enjoy, from Bem to the Practical Joker. And if I had to balance the two out, at least the introduction of a primitive, or at least a proto holodeck, was enjoyable. The rest of it was bad jokes with no explanation. I like Gorilla's explanation of if it had been an infection from an alien species that had taken over the Enterprise, I would have been fine with it. But the nervous breakdown didn't hold water. This is a C- from me.
You know what? That infection, like if it would have been just a random infection and the computer was more unpredictable, it would have made more sense for it to come from a nebula, that it wouldn't have had any if it was a little more chaotic. But for it to just become a jerk, very just so programmed so perfectly, it needs something more.
Agreed. Yeah, if it had been something in, yeah, I would have taken complete computer malfunction or systems being erratic. But yeah, I guess the Kirk is a jerk just for the memes, just for the lulls. But yeah,
That's true.
C- minus for this kid.
C- from Scotty and C- from Jill so far.
Yeah, C for cute. It was cute.
Okay, your turn, Gorilla. Lay it on us.
Can I go after you? I want to see what your score is.
I would have to say I'm going to give this. I'll be a little positive. I give it a B minus.
But this is gonna be the one that's nicest on the.
I'm gonna be nicest because the closer we get to the end of this, the more I'm gonna start missing it. So that's part of it.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's still miles away of. It's still the original cast, which it's always. To me, it's like I've said it before, but it's like a time capsule that we're so lucky to have anything produced by the original cast with them in it. Yeah. And I know the jokes were juvenile, and I know they weren't funny. Some of them were, and I do understand. And I do understand the plot holes that we have picked apart, which I totally agree on. But it was like Jill said in the beginning. I think it's because a lot of the people were already on the bus on the way out. Because DC Fontana was already gone. So I think this second season was on a little more autopilot than the first one. So that's my review.
That is true. It is a treasure anytime we get to hear from the cast.
Yeah, considering there's only 22 episodes, I treasure them every one of them. And by the way, for those of you watching out there in YouTube land, if you're watching this live, please feel free to vote. I put a poll in the chat. If you haven't voted already, please do if you can. And if you're watching this on the rerun, I hope you enjoy this stream. Please sub to my channel if you enjoy it and hit the like button. Maybe even hit the alerts because you're welcome to come back. We'll be producing more content like this. So, Gorilla, did we get your review yet?
Yeah. So, obviously, the D7s brought it way down. If they were done a regular Bird of Prey, it wouldn't have bothered me because we already know that the Romulans and the Klingons exchanged that design. But now it seems like, are you just saying that they gave away every single one of the Klingons gave away every single one of their damn designs? I don't buy it. So that really drug it down. But like Scotty said, we did get a holodeck there, even though it might have been primitive. We got the holodeck there.
Yeah, I do love the holodeck.
Yes, that's true too. We got to see the holodeck. That's a plus there.
Yeah, I rescinded my F on the thing after I got thinking that it was maybe like a child entity that was subatomic that got into the computer, and it got out when it went back through the energy field there.
Well, and it's interesting too because think about this: the computer normally doesn't have a mentality or a personality. So if you were suddenly to give one to what was before a non-sentient object, then the next question would be, well, do you want it to have the personality of an adult or a child? And I guess it would be a child.
Yeah, it's like, granted that these are like 5th grade jokes, but the child, because even I've played a lot better pranks than what the computer came up with.
And they weren't right, and they weren't overtly deadly. I mean, it could have turned off environmental systems at any time and suffocated them to death, or beamed them all to space or something.
Yeah, like to me, a good prank is like, for example,
I think that's because the ship still had a sense of self-preservation, even though it did really dangerous things. It itself didn't want to die.
Yeah,
yes.
And then like for a perfect example of a good prank is, I have a friend. She asked me if I knew anybody who was looking for a boyfriend there because she's trying to hook her brother up, get her brother a girlfriend and all that. And I said, yes, of course I know someone who's looking for a boyfriend there. So I set him up with a gay guy.
Oh, God.
He still calls me an asshole for 10 years later on this.
Well, I was going to say, usually 9 times out of 10 playing Cupid isn't usually a good thing.
Oh, he still calls me an asshole for that. For that. Anybody who says that was mean for the other person, whose idea do you think it was?
Well, it's a good thing that's all he did. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Good for you. You dodged that fist.
To me, that's a good prank, you know.
Well,
Versus,
Yes, it is a funny prank. Yes, I agree.
in
Yeah, we're-
regards to this episode, I think the funniest thing to come out of it is that when they show the crew with their dribble cups and everyone spilling on their shirts, everybody gets something dribbled on their shirt.
Yeah.
The animation itself is a white blotch. The funniest thing that I find is that Jill's only thumbnail or slide from that scene is Sulu is the one who we get to see with the white blotch on his uniform.
It's milk, people. Milk.
You've been
Sure.
waiting. You've been
Sure.
waiting. So
I didn't even catch that, Scotty.
right, it's supposed to be milk. I think.
Okay. Just for that, I'm opening it up another half scotch here, but
Oh, there we go. So that was a positive thing, Scotty.
I
But,
think this review made the episode better.
but also with
did.
that, also with that
don't
being
these reviews always make the episode better?
Yeah.
That it does.
But with that also being said, this is the first and only time we get a meme out of the animated series with the Kirk is a jerk thing that turned into a meme.
Yeah, it's too bad it didn't have Ibrox Spock too. That would have been nice, huh?
So with Scotty pointing that out, I'm giving this a B+.
Yay!
Wow.
Ooh, there you go. Thank you.
Nothing
But
like spilt milk.
The other thing that really did not give it a lot lower grade is because my fur baby was in this a lot.
Your
Oh,
fur baby
yeah, I
was
did-
in this a lot.
I'm glad that you're a Moretz fan. Moretz fan. Moret, kitty lady.
And
It's that
now
voice I tell
the
ya.
poll has closed itself.
Oh.
I just closed it.
Oh, okay, you closed it. So
Yes.
hey, the poll did not close itself tonight. That is
No,
great.
yeah, I actually looked at, and I'm hoping that everybody had a chance to vote because I figure that all four of us on the panel voted, so I'm going to share with everybody what the chat voted on here.
Very mixed reviews for this episode.
There we go. Oh, you're right. What grade would you give the Practical Joker? We have 41% gave it a B plus to an A minus, 25% gave it a D plus to an F minus, 16% gave it A plus to A minus, and C plus to C minus gave it a 16%. That's interesting.
Yeah. And just a note for the record that this is the first review that I've been the most generous one on the whole panel.
I would
Just
agree with
saying.
that. It is surprising. I didn't expect you to like it as much, Gorilla.
Even though it had a lot of flaws, I pointed out, but Moretz there really brought up the episode.
Yeah, it's not so much that I hate it too much. It's just more Saturday morning cartoon than Star Trek.
Well, in all fairness, Jill, this was supposed to be a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, but CC Fontana wanted it to be Star Trek first.
Right. And it is. As we've said before, it's better than all the other Saturday morning cartoons at the time, by far.
That's true.
Matt G says, I believe that's bacon. And Resolute Germ says, very generous grades. Lemon Pie says, hello, Tiger. And Resolute Germ says, the Klingons got disruptor and cloaking tech in the deal according to beta canon. I was just going to ask that for you experts out there. Did they ever officially write it down in the Star Trek Bible when there was the deal made between the Klingons and the Romulans and what was made and at what points and all that kind of stuff? Did they ever canonize any of that?
I haven't gotten into the beta canon that far yet.
What is beta canon compared to regular canon?
The books.
Oh, then I don't consider it canon. I'm talking about just what was on film.
Yeah.
The only-
So it's not alpha canon.
Well, the only time that they reference it is at the very beginning of the Enterprise incident, where Spock says it seems that the Romulans are sharing technology with the Klingons, or the Romulans are using Klingon designs, whether it be actual ships or just the designs of the ships, so the Romulans can make them themselves. And then the assumption is based on Star Trek 3 that and this is all only what has been presented on screen, is that in return for the D7s, that the Klingons would have got cloaking technology.
Yeah, it was because in Star Trek 3 they were going to make it Romulans, but they already had the ship made, and when they switched to Klingons, they just gave them the ship they already had made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it wasn't really mentioned in the later Star Trek series like TNG or Voyager, any of those?
No, not that I recall.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cam's Crash Courses says, a Resolute Germ. Hey, Germ. Quirk 130 says, that was funny, Scotty. Resolute Germ says, hi, Cam. And Cam says, at Lemon Pie, hi again. Hey, Cam says Lemon Pie. And Cam says, I didn't vote. I haven't seen it in years. I'm sorry, Cam. I do recommend you still watch it. Please don't let this review discourage you from actually watching the show. I always recommend that to everybody. I say the same thing when we do Gilligan's Island and the horror movies.
Yeah, definitely. You might still think it's fun.
Yes, Captain, and you may even form a different opinion than what you've heard us say. Captain Infinity says, WTF is beta canon. That's what I said, Captain, exactly. And then if that's the case, what's C canon? Cartoons? Cam's Crash Courses say Captain Infinity High Cap beta canon, right? I hadn't heard of that beta. I guess I'm the last. Captain and I are the last ones to hear about this beta canon phrase.
Well, and they do. There's the two websites that, whether you adhere to them just because they can be changed by fans, and as Jill has pointed out, that a lot of Memory Alpha is they incorporate the filth, but there is a Memory Beta website as well that is referential to the comics and the books and games, if I remember correctly.
And if there was a third one, it would be Theta.
I thought it was Gamma.
No, it'd be Gamma.
Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta.
And Epsilon.
That's interesting.
Greek alphabet.
Resolute Germ says 70s was prime Hanna-Barbera era. This show was never going to compete with that powerhouse. No, if Star Trek against Scooby-Doo, not very likely. And Cam says Captain Infinity, High Captain Beta Cannon. Did I already read those? Sorry about that if I did. I always judge on my own viewing. Otherwise, I cannot offer an opinion, says Cam. I appreciate your honesty, sir. And Herc 130 says, then Lemon Pie.
Lemon Pie.
Lemon Pie. Thank you for correcting me on that.
But yeah, I still have to agree. I'm down on it because Bem and Practical Joker are a 1-2 punch of what I would call just sort of silly. At least these guys, this time they're doing their jobs. Kirk does have a stratagem to sort of rid the Enterprise of stuff, of the infection, and so I do enjoy it. And again, I would take new old Star Trek over new stuff, like in terms of STD or Strange New Worlds, any day. Yeah,
and it is kind of the classic thing where, oh, we don't know how to fix it. Let's just do it in reverse.
Well,
yeah.
So
yeah.
All right.
Me there. I'm enjoying Strange New Worlds. There. I mean, it's Star Trek Discovery and Picard. Not near. Like I'd watch them, but not entirely like enjoy them. I watch them. So I know what the guys are talking about that review them and stuff. But I love Lower Decks, and I really like.
I really don't like Strange New Worlds. There is a sentient cloud in that series too, where the dad just gives up his daughter to this alien.
Well, it's
yes.
Well, I looked at that as it was risking it in order for his daughter to have a chance to live in a happy and fulfilling life.
Well, he just got lucky, but
in and out of a transporter buffer until she dies, because he's not getting any closer to a cure than he was before.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but he had found this planet of people who could cure, but they were like, no, we can't give it to you. Screw you. And so they never mentioned that ever again, and nobody ever tried to
Fabulous writing, huh?
It's terrible.
So I could understand his decision on that, to give up to give her a chance at a life, versus out of the transporter buffer, like 10 minutes a day, versus she got to live.
Yeah, but why didn't he just put her in stasis, and then she wouldn't have to worry about any of that? Regular stasis, like they were able to do in the 1990s in Star Trek universe.
Well, because he was selfish and he wanted to roll her out every time he wanted to visit her, I guess, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, would you call that selfish?
Makes him a terrible person.
Yeah, because that means he's thinking more about himself than her.
Well, and he does keep it secret, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, right.
Creepy.
And then they find out, and they're like, "Yeah, that's okay. You can do that."
That's okay. God.
Sure.
Nothing morbid
they're
there, huh?
well, if that you go, yeah, that's okay. No, in every other show that some of the main cast got away with, were able to get away with stuff as soon as it was found
Yeah.
out. So you
I'll
can't
start.
really fault the episode on that part because every series has done that.
Well, I'll start watching Strange New Worlds as soon as they introduce Jose Tyler, because that's my guy.
Who's Jose Tyler?
The navigator on the Enterprise during the Cage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and also what Sean Carter says.
Also with Sean Carter. So let me get to that. I have to get caught up here. Camcast, thanks for the encouragement and raw opinions. I respect that. Captain Finity says canon is absolutely a binary proposition. And Sean Carter says that whole surviving in the transporter thing made me mad. Scotty developed that on the Janolan and Relics. New Trek just vomits on canon. Vomits is a nice way to put it.
Well, and I just find Strange New Worlds to be the monkeys to the original series being the Beatles. It's kind of like a cover song, and
Which
not
is
a
an
good
insult
one.
to the monkeys.
It is kind of an insult to the monkeys because everyone loves Peter Tork. Or are you more of a Mike Nesmith individual? I don't know. Maybe you're a Mickey Dolenz. Perhaps you're a Davy Jones. All I'm saying is I would love to see them on the Enterprise in a remake.
Well,
think
just
they're
wait
dead,
for
aren't
season
they?
3.
Well, no, season 2 is when we get Chekhov, which is modeled after Davy Jones. So I'm in
Oh,
luck.
there you go. Yes, he has a wig and everything.
A wig and everything.
A wig and everything. The Beatles wig. Okay, and once again, I wanted to thank everybody in the chat so much. I mean, it's so. I know everybody. Your time is valuable, so it really means a lot for you to spend your time with us, and I appreciate it because it's a blast. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Without the chat, we wouldn't have a show. So you guys mean everything to me, and I'd like to also obviously thank my fellow panelists. Jill, would you like to tell us anything about your channel?
Yes, and I apologize for the music in the background. My children are having fun with the piano.
It's a party.
You're totally fine.
Yeah, and so yes, I have a science fiction channel where I like to review stuff. I'm reviewing Star Trek, the original series, right now. Tomorrow we're going to review the episode
Tasty Armageddon.
A Taste of Armageddon.
Says you.
Says me.
There we go.
It's
And
one of the
there's
best.
her.
It's a really fantastic episode. So join us tomorrow, and Scotty and Pop, and we're going to talk about it. And there's no Friday show this week, so I have away missions. So I'm
What am I
going
gonna
to
do
be
with my
out.
Friday?
I don't know. That's you're gonna have to figure it out. But I'm glad that you are going to miss the show, even though I'm sad that I can't provide one for you.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing, Jill. With knowing that you don't read half my chats there, I know that I can put your show on with my kid in the car there, and not have to worry about what he's listening to.
On Fridays?
True.
No, like especially on Tuesdays.
Well, I do try to read it if I can.
Well, no, there's half of them you'll look at it and go, nope, I'm not reading that. No, but that's a kind of a good thing too. I was like, at least then I know you. I don't have to worry about what's gonna be said during your stream there versus some of these others. It's like I look at the title. Do I really want my kid to learn about that just yet?
Yeah, probably not, huh? And Scotty, why don't you tell us about your channel?
Well, I'm sort of in the same boat as Jill, but I do hang out on the Phantasmagorium show. Typically, we've been catching up on the Batman franchise, and on Thursdays, so on Wednesdays we do the Batman, and Thursdays we've been doing Quantum Leap, but due to away missions on the entire crew of the Phantasmagorium show, I don't think we're doing anything on Wednesday or Thursday. But we will be back next week. And next week on Wednesday, we're doing Batman Sub-Zero and Heart of Ice. And on Thursday, it will be an interesting visitation to a completely different show. Jill has agreed to join me in checking out Star Trek Patrick Stewart Season 3.
Very
I
cool.
feel like this is some alternate universe Jill that agreed to this, and now I'm stuck. No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
Okay, so I kind of feel okay. So I have learned some information now that this might be something worthwhile as a science fiction broadcast, but it still won't be Star Trek due to the people running it.
hey, Jill.
Yes.
Drunk agreements are still agreements. Just remember that.
Both of us are going into it. I'm going into it with hoping for the best and we're expecting the worst.
Mhm.
And Jill, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you're going into it expecting the worst, but placating my optimism.
Yeah, I'm not expecting the worst. The worst for Star Trek, maybe, but maybe it's going to be a good science fiction show. If I try to like if only they could take the Star Trek label off of it, and maybe I can.
We will
Yeah.
find out together.
See, I'm going to take a whole new, different approach to this. I'm just going to go into it drunk.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I'm definitely going to get some Romulan ale shipped across
That's one
the
way to
border.
do it. Hey, we're the Vulcans, says Captain Finity. And Gorilla, tell us about your channel.
Well, tomorrow night before Cat or Pop stream, I might do either a Minecraft one or a Random Thoughts with Gorilla. I haven't decided yet. That's not for sure yet. It just depends on what time I get home and stuff. But then on
Gotcha.
Wednesdays we watch. We're watching Stranger Things. We're on season 4, episode 4, at the watch party. And then on Friday we're reviewing another episode of The Waltons. I can't remember which one it is right off the top of my head. But then we're starting season 4 of Babylon 5 on Saturday.
Oh,
And
nice.
then Sunday we're watching. If I could get both Homeward Bounds, we're gonna watch both of them there. Otherwise,
Oh, nice,
we're
yeah.
for sure gonna have Homeward Bound there. Then I might do another like noon Saturday stream maybe if I got time.
Yeah, very cool. And then also, I want to recommend everybody. Gorilla has, as you saw, I was showing a lot of. He creates a lot of shorts and puts a lot of shorts content out there that I highly recommend. They're hilarious and very insightful. Cam's Crash Courses says it's a pure plot device. Stasis removes the chance for interaction. That is true. Lemon Pie says we're too busy melding to put anybody down. And Cam Crash Courses says thanks everyone. Take it easy and have some fun. Thank you, Cam.
Cheers.
I
Tony
guess
Stark.
Strange New World's never heard of flashbacks.
No, I guess. Tony Stark says, shall I do a stream after this? It's still early, Tony. Tony Stark says it won't be the big party stream, but I can go on at my place and send out links. Well, Tony, I'm glad you got it working. Resolute Germ says, starting shortly after the stream ends, a quick review of Godzilla the Series 1998. Is that by you?
The animated series?
Godzilla the Series. It's got to be the animated. They never made a live action series. Am I right?
Wicked cool. Way to go, Resolute Germ.
And Resolute Germ, is that it? You're putting that out, Resolute Germ, or is that someone else? Resolute Germ says is that the new or classic Quantum Leap?
Classics. When we review it, it is the classic. Simply because
Salmon Ale.
Only the real Quantum Leap, that is.
You can't. Well, I'm sure you could spell Quantum Leap without Sam or Al, but they're my favorite and they're my jam. So that's what we go through. And it's been fun so far. We're on season 2, nearing the end of season 2, which we'll pick up after, their Patrick Stewart show.
I have to ask, was I just dreaming or did they cancel Quantum Leap? Or there's no season 2?
There is another season. They're going to make
more.
Every show that you don't like got a season 2 this season. So yeah,
of course, because everybody talks about them, right?
That's it.
Well, here's the thing though, where me and Pop disagree on that he says we shouldn't be talking about, but we said they're silent for so long and tried not watching, but then the people who did not went into it blind, for that, and now we're bitching about it. Yeah, it's drawing attention to the show, but we're also pointing out the flaws and hoping that they correct course and change.
Well, and
Which that when we've not seen evidence of that in any show.
And I agree with pop culture in terms of that. And I think that's something that we share is that if you attract attention to something good or bad, that it's the numbers of the people watching, and so. And without any evidence of them deciding to course correct, even though they're moving the needle ever so slightly, even with Strange New Worlds, as you said, you prefer that over STD. And so while they moved it slightly, I'm optimistic that Patrick Stewart is going to move it a little bit more. But I don't know. We will see. I could have egg all over my face, and my faith in two of my favorite YouTubers could be like, seriously, guys, seriously.
Well, and the thing with this here is that the biggest problem with Strange New Worlds is definitely the canon. But I know a lot of people said they'd probably judge it a little bit better if they would just come out and say it's a reboot versus versus just saying it is alpha canon. No. So I'm wondering how that actually affects it. With them with the judging. They would.
Right, Secret Hideout will not admit this is a separate universe.
Yeah.
And that's why Memory Alpha is a load of crap now.
Well, and it would make things so much easier in the fandom if they just said this is either Kelvin or alternate. If they just said it, I would be like, okay.
And these companies used to listen to fans, but now they're on streaming services, and so we don't get to see the actual ratings of the show. We don't know how many people are actually watching it, so the investors are somehow manipulated into thinking that these shows are doing great because of the metrics on social media.
Yeah, that's just it. I have a feeling they're just looking at numbers and they're saying, look, numbers are high. We must be doing something right. Let's make more, just like this. Just keep making more just like this. And so, they don't listen to the fans anymore, I don't think. The only people they seem to listen to when they listen to anybody seems to be the Twitter crowd, which is the worst part and the smallest percentage. And Mega Copper says, how depressing. I think he's talking about Quantum Leap there. Tony Stark says,
I think probably me watching season 3 of Patrick Stewart is what's depressing.
It's not too late.
It does.
It's not too late. You can always go.
No, I'm going to do it.
Cam's Crash Courses says, Tony Stark, I'll drop by for a minute if you do. And Tony says, I'll awaken the machine spirit then. And Mega Cropper says, should have rebooted with that dude out. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Resolute Germ says, yes, that's me. And Herc130 says, applause. Tony Stark says, yeah, I'll open it up and have some fun. Tony Stark says, see you there. I'll kick the tires and light the fires. Useful idiots, in my opinion, says Mega Cropper. Captain Finity says, exactly. Nobody's watching that nonsense anyway. I agree, Captain. Captain Finity says, like and or. Is there anything else anybody would like to add that we haven't already said?
No.
Sean Carter says, did you all hear my Picard limerick on Friday Night Frolics?
No.
I believe I did. I wasn't there. I'm sorry.
I don't head over to Doomcox really.
Sean.
Oh yeah.
Sean Carter, you're always welcome to share it with us.
I was there and I missed it because I'm always having to get up and go away from my computer.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's several hours, so you have to get up sometime or another, right?
Yeah, because kids.
Yeah, 8-hour live stream is way too much for me. So,
and I wanted to apologize just now. I realized I apologize to everybody in the chat, and it was not intentional. That I usually put a link to this panel in the chat so that anybody can join us, and I forgot to tonight. So I'm so sorry about that. And if you're watching this on a rerun, I guess that doesn't matter. But I do recommend, whether you like the review or not, regardless of what you think about the review, I highly recommend you trying to locate this show on I'm sure it's available on a streaming service, but I recommend more if you can get a physical copy of it. They do have a Blu-ray version of TAS out, which looks fantastic and it has a lot of extra features.
And if you are streaming in Canada, it is available on Netflix.
All right, and I'm guessing probably Paramount Network and Paramount Plus, whatever that is in the U.S. I'm guessing. And let's see.
Yeah.
The high seas of the internet are also available to you. Yar.
That is true. Because believe me, I'm not going to be an advocate to say give Paramount your money.
Me neither. I will not advise anyone to give Paramount money. If you
Right.
want Star Trek, buy it on physical media.
Agreed.
The same goes for the mouse. I'll put it that way, the mouse company. At least in
Well,
my opinion. Yes.
And also, I would say that if you are a fan of classic Star Trek, like as mentioned, the 735, if you want to see, if no matter how distant a dream it may be, if you purchase it on physical media the first time, or like brand new from wherever you purchase your brand new media, there is still a possibility that they'll do a remaster of Deep Space Nine and Voyager. That has not yet come out, and the only way that they will respond to that is sales of other physical media.
That is true too, because they don't deem it as popular. But if you raise the popularity, then there's a better chance.
But Deep Space Nine desperately deserves a remaster. That would
Yeah,
be so gorgeous to see it.
all the DS9 fans seem to agree on that. That's for sure. Herc130 says, "I did Sean Carter. So funny, excellent." And Sean Carter says, "And now to our dear friend Picard, who was so old that he couldn't get hard. He was down on his luck because he couldn't get, and Beverly was forever scarred." Thank you for censoring that a little bit for us, Sean. Captain Picard says, "Physical
That's
media."
a prediction of season 3, apparently.
Yeah, it does sound like it, huh? And Resolute Germ says, "Have this on DVD for over a decade."
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of an improvement between DVD and Blu-ray, consider it's animated, maybe a little sharper, a little clearer. And Cam Crash Course says that Sean Carter, "I did." Tony Stark says, "My stream is up." Sean Carter says, "There once was a dummy named Alex, whose Trek was as evil as Daleks. At him we did yell, 'You can go straight to hell,' and we chased him from LA to Dallas."
Don't take him to Texas. Leave the Texans alone.
And here we have a link here, and our derivative Jill says, "Raid on Tony Stark." Yes, Tony Stark. When this, not the second, but as soon as the stream ends, please head over to Tony Stark's channel. He has a fantastic channel and a great man with a lot of humor, and he also does impressions. Captain Infinity, did Pop just call me Captain Picard? No, Captain, not you. Mega Crawford says, "I've heard on the grapevine Scotty and Jill are reviewing B7 on one of the big channels."
Blake 7 on Cardinal Sin's channel. I think it starts this Sunday, but I won't be able to be there this Sunday. But I will provide the slides for it.
Oh,
And I have heard so many great things about Blake 7, and it seems to be of an era and a style that is my jam. So I'm really happy that I was invited to participate in that, and I'm looking forward to it greatly.
Yeah, and I just obtained it, so I will be watching it here soon.
Cool.
Mega Cropper says, "I've heard the..." Oh, sorry. Sean Carter, LOL, "I choose Texas because we are armed."
Makes
Not
sense.
for long. With all those California people moving there, believe me, your guns will be banned in no time. Resolute Germ says, "I buy DVD over Blu-ray when possible. Longer life for the disc." That is true. And sometimes Blu-ray isn't really justified to pay the extra money.
Don't
And
be so
sometimes
sure. No one messes with Texas Pop.
Well, I'll put it this way. That's one of their intentions of why they headed to the conservative states. And they're very strong. And unfortunately, they outnumber very quickly. Believe me, I hope I'm wrong. But that's one of their intentions.
Me too. I thought that we just left them all in Austin and they stayed there.
But here's the thing, Pop. Are you sure it's all the not just it's just the moderate people moving and all the nutcases are staying in California?
No, everybody's leaving. Everybody's leaving. That's why they focus on the conservative states. You don't see them moving from here to Oregon or from here to Washington or here to Illinois or here to New York. They went to the conservative states for a reason. They want to diminish the other political party and outnumber, which is very easy for them to do because they have the money. That's the problem. They have the money. They can buy anything they want, including the courts. Captain Infinity says, "I did." He did. It's all on tape. Pop misnamed me. If I did, Captain, it wasn't intentional. I apologize. Believe me, I would never call you that.
Jean-Luc Finity.
Captain Infinity says, "Hey, Jill, may I get a copy of those Blake 7 slides by Saturday?"
That's funny.
Maybe.
Oh, come on. That's stealing homework.
I know. Yeah, right? I don't know.
It's up to you. It's not my biz.
I know, right? It is up to me. I'm not deciding right now live on the air. But
Okay,
it seems
is
to
there
be
anything?
hanging on that.
Okay, and I hope I. Oh, let me get this here really quick if I can here. Captain Finity says, "Hey Scotty, what are you doing on Saturday?"
Recovering from our Faulty Towers review.
Oh, I love Faulty Towers.
Yeah, we're doing it over. Actually, we're recording because Cinema Gulp has graciously invited Captain Finity and myself to discuss the series Faulty Towers, and I think we're going to be recording and imbibing on Friday night. And so,
And how many episodes are in that series?
not
Not
many.
many, not many. Yeah, but it's like gold. Every episode is just like it's perfect.
What's it about? I don't even know what this is.
It's about
a
John
cranky,
Cleese running a hotel.
John Cleese is from Monty Python, which I know you've heard of Monty Python,
Yes.
and he's a member of that. And it's his own sitcom by him. He is proprietor of a hotel, and he's harangued and harassed and ran ragged, and he treats his patrons horribly, but it's hilarious. He runs a hotel.
Sounds good for business.
If somehow he seems to always get business. But it's funny.
There's
Full series is 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's only. I was thinking 13, but yeah, 12.
6 hours.
And it's definitely not politically correct, which makes it very refreshing. So it also makes it very funny.
Yeah. Well, Jill, that's Dick's Last Resort's whole motto is their waitresses are always they're required to be rude to the customers and make fun and make of the customers and all that. That's the whole point of the experience.
See, they say that when they hire you, but they don't mean it. Trust me.
Resolute German says Cal already poisoned Washington and Oregon 30 years ago. See, you really don't think that they can do that to Texas? Just watch.
Oh, I have faith in Texans.
Cam's Crash Courses says, nice. I just got the Blake 7 box edition. I haven't watched it yet. Oh,
nice.
Everybody's getting into Blake 7 now. That's fantastic. Captain Finity says, this is Torquia. I feel bad for not that. Does anybody else know how to pronounce that?
No, I'm not sure.
Torquia. Captain Finity says, oh, Jill, are you in for a treat? And Captain Finity says, pretentious, moi?
Torquia?
This is Torca. And Cam Cash Courses says Faulty is brilliant. It is. But okay, so the question is, would you say you could understand the humor of Faulty Towers without knowing Monty Python? I would say yes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm a big Monty Python fan, but I'm thinking if I separated myself, I still love Faulty Towers. What those people did once they split up and did on their own was still great. I mean, Terry Jones, Terry Gilliam, all of them. It's like, gems, absolute gems. Okay, is there anything anybody would like to Torquay, thank you, Captain Finity. Torquay, shame on me. Resolute German says Texas will learn from our mistakes and kick out Californians at gunpoint. Right. You got to remember that every person that crosses that border is going to be a Democrat because they're handed everything they want, and that's what they'll do. So believe me, Texas, their head's going to spin so fast. What's that?
No, nothing. I'm pretty sure not every single person moving here.
Well, it's just that because you got to remember it's the political party that gives them everything they want. That's the thing that lets them in. So they tend to that and the Democrats are pushing, obviously, allow them. I don't want to get political here, but allow them to vote.
Too late.
They want to get rid of and let everybody vote, even if they're legal or not. So everything's planned, well planned. I guarantee you.
Luckily, I'm in Canada, so I'm surrounded by commies no matter what.
Mega Cropper says, prepare to meet in one of the greatest characters in TV, Avon Lives.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, man. With Blake 7, yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. Is there anything else anybody would like to share before I close this? I know we're going on an hour and 40 minutes approximately.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. I want to thank everybody in the chat once again. And if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And maybe hit the alerts so you'll know when I'm having another stream. Tomorrow, catch me on, by the way, I do TAS every Monday on this channel. Until we run out of episodes, we only have 3 left. So and maybe you guys can help me decide in the future. We were trying to bouncing back and forth. Should we cover maybe the Batman 66 TV series or maybe Lost in Space? So if you're listening, maybe think about it. Let me know. You can leave a comment in this chat or in the video, or we could talk about it tomorrow on Antiderivative Jill's channel, because that's where I'll be tomorrow. We'll be covering TOS. And which episode of TOS tomorrow, Jill?
Tasty Armageddon.
A taste of Armageddon.
Oh, come on. Let me have my fun.
Well, we could say it both ways.
Okay.
And then tomorrow evening, I will be... Yes, and then tomorrow evening, I will be picking up where I left off with the Evil Dead series. We're on the third one, Army of Darkness. I'm excited. So please, if you're in the range of my voice and you hear this, please join us. Everybody's welcome. I will have a link in the panel for that show. It tends to be a pretty wild night with a lot of people. It's very fun. And then on Wednesday, Gorilla. I always get Gilligan and Gorilla mixed up. But Gorilla and I cover Gilligan's Island, the series, on Wednesday, and that was another one we missed last week, unfortunately, but we will be picking up this week.
Well, it is a Gorilla's Island a couple of times, isn't there?
Yeah, it is Gorilla's. That's just I was going to say it. So another reason why I get confused is Gorilla's actually been on that island a few times.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do usually before we leave here, we kind of show the preview for next week's. So that's let me pull that up now. Bear with me here. Jill's better on timing than I am.
I'm sorry, my daughter needs me right now. I need a minute.
Go for it. Okay, here we go. So next week we're going to be doing Star Trek TAS. That'll be next Monday, and we'll be covering the episode the Albatross. And like I said, closing the stream out, I'll give us a preview of it. I hope you guys can hear it well. Hopefully no problems with audio. And here we go.
Date 527.6.4. We are in orbit around the planet Dramia, under the conditions of general quarantine.
You are hereby directed to surrender for trial by the people of Dramia, Dr. Leonard McCoy, Medical Officer, USS Enterprise.
Do not be assured by your friend's plans. Grim injustice is swift. Too swift for them to save you, perhaps.
I, Cold Tide, survived. By what miracle? I do not know.
Plague. Dramia 2. Of unknown origin, characterized by pigmentation changes in skin of victim. You're blue.
The ship will self-destruct in order to protect other beings from the disease on board.